friends. Really excited about this one. This is our Be Us. They're going to be creating a global playlist to inspire climate action. How cool. I want to introduce Michael, Paula, Dane, Charity, and Holly. Welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Harris. I'm Michael Kingsford, and 5 years ago, when my daughter was in 3rd grade, I was invited to talk to her class about sea turtles. And what happened next ultimately led me to join up with my extraordinary partners and create CS Rise. But before I get into that story, let me introduce you to one of those partners. Paula Cooper is a mom of one of my daughter's best friends, and she lives in Nottingham, England. You know the story of Robin Hood with the Sheriff of Nottingham? That's where she lives. How cool is that? And we have her zooming right into your classroom right now.
Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be here and thank you, Mike. Well as myself and Mike from CS Rise, we also have 2 talented musicians with us today, Charity and Dane. And they'll be talking a little bit later how they've been creating music to help inspire people to take action against climate change. We also hope a little bit later on to have Holly Thorpe with us. Holly is a middle school student who is actually changing things, how things are being done down at her school in Miami. And we hope to talk to them all in a little bit more detail in a few minutes' time.
So what is CS Rise? When I had to give that turtle talk to a whole room of bright young students like yourself, I had to do a lot of research first so I wouldn't sound like a dummy. I learned that just in the time since I was my daughter's age, people had done so much environmental damage to the oceans with single-use plastics, plastic fishing nets, nasty chemicals, and by burning fossil fuels that sea turtles were threatened with extinction, excuse me. The truth of the matter was that big parts of our planet's ecosystem had become really stressed and were starting to fall apart. You've likely heard the news stories: bigger than ever forest fires, bigger than ever hurricanes, bigger than ever floods, bigger than ever algae blooms like red tide that are fouling our beaches and lasting so much longer than they ever did before, killing turtles and manatees and dolphins and thousands of fish. This was scary. Why wasn't everyone doing everything they could to stop it? I found out that our school was spending over $300,000 a year every year on dirty fossil fuels to power the school. And I developed a plan to power the school from solar panels, to save the school thousands of dollars every year. But they wouldn't do it. It was easier to just keep doing things the way they always had done things. Nobody could blame them for that, right? They did know that climate change was really scary, but that was when I realized that fear did not motivate people to make change. Fear makes people freeze. Fear makes people hide. Passion is the emotion that gives people strength. Passion is what propels a soldier into a battlefield in spite of his fear. Passion is why a parent will do anything to protect their children. Passion is what makes your teachers work long hours for not very much pay to give you the very best education they can so that you can thrive. Passion is a kind of love. I did get one church to change to solar power. They felt very passionately that we have a responsibility to preserve and protect all the wonderful gifts of nature that God has given, not just to us, but to our children and your children. In talking to a good friend, Ethan Updike, a wonderful music teacher who's become one of our partners, I came to understand that passion was best communicated through music. We needed to get great musicians to create great songs that would make people feel that they had to change the way they had been doing things and stop damaging our environment. We needed musicians to communicate passion. What would it feel like to you if your favorite musician sang a really great song encouraging you to work to save the environment?
Thank you, Mike. Maybe some of you students would like to type into the chat room and say, well, who is your favorite musician and what would you like them to sing about in terms of trying to combat climate change? Well, we've actually got 2 people with us today who have actually written songs about climate change. As I mentioned, they're both talented artists in their own right, but they've also worked together across 4,000 miles on one of Dane's songs called Change. We have Dane Mars, who's in Orlando, Florida, and we have Charity Stowe, who's in England. And Dane's song actually spanned 5 continents. And I think, Dane, is that right? It had about 50 different people working on it.
Yeah, Paula,
Anyway.
that's right. Yep.
Great stuff. Well, let's see, maybe we can have a little clip, Dane, of Change, and we'll see if we can spot all those different people.
Time is up, rising up, let your voice be heard.
This is it. Time is up
No more empty promises.
for our home. We will fight behind the science. We unite.
The only hope we know is if we do this together. Home is burning to the ground, but you and I will not back down. You and I will not back down. You and I will not back down.
What a wonderful song. Dane, can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this song and the process you went through to get all those people to work together on it?
For sure, Mike. Yeah, so as an artist and just as a human being, I love to surround myself with people who share this same sense of purpose and who can celebrate these challenges together. And so in the process of making this, I just thought, this really captures how I feel about the situation. How can I get as many people who also care about this to collaborate on it together so that we can share this moment and spread this around the world and see who else is interested in this. So my goal was definitely to show people who care about climate change that they're not alone and that there are a lot of really talented, thoughtful, incredible people working on around the world this same issue that brings us all together.
That's terrific. For those of you who want to hear the whole song, and I can't imagine you wouldn't, if you go to csrise.org, you will find it on our front page. We love this song, and Dane is not only a great musician for creating this song, but he has done a number of other things because he is all about saving the environment. Dane, would you like to discuss some of your other projects?
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't grow up making music about climate change. I've always made music, but a couple of years ago, I started getting educated about what was going on. And I found myself surrounded by a lot of people who knew what was going on. And so it just kind of slipped into my vocabulary and the stories that I had to tell. And so I think it's one of the most important things going on in our world right now. And I think it's really relevant. And so, so I'm excited to have the privilege of being one of the artists that gets to talk about it, gets to bring awareness to it. So try to not make it, scary and gloomy, and try to make it attract people's attention rather than demand it. And try to make it something that people are drawn to and that they want to celebrate these huge challenges. And so that's my mission, and that's what I have to bring to the world. And so each month I make a new music video about a different topic. And sometimes I get to collaborate with good folks like Charity and the rest of the CS Rise team.
That's brilliant. Dane, do you have any examples of how you've changed your lifestyle to become a little bit more sustainable?
Yeah, I think the biggest one that a lot of times we overlook is calling up our representatives. So especially if we write letters, and as young people, you especially can make a huge difference by writing a letter to your local government or your representatives, and you can talk to your parents about who those people are. You can find them on Google. And it matters because a lot of people don't write to their representatives. So if you do, you're going to stand out and your voice is going to be heard. But there's a lot of things. I've got an electric car. I've got a Tesla. The roof here, I have solar panels on the roof here. So I charge my car up with sunlight and I drive on sunshine everywhere that I go. I power my concerts from my electric car. So I got a big battery in my car that I can power shows from. We have a plant-based meal plan because particularly livestock, cows, contribute a lot to greenhouse gases. So there's a lot of ways that I believe that I can live a better life, and that my life has been improved by embracing these challenges and finding creative solutions to do things differently. And it's a really fun adventure.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for that. I'd just like to say, Dane, that at the minute it's 6:30 here well, 6:45 here in England. I don't know about you, Charity. I'm surrounded by darkness. So the thought of solar power and charging up cars with sunshine is long past today. But maybe, Charity, we could have a chat to you now, if that's okay, about your song. You obviously featured on Dane's video. What was it like to actually take part in that, being 4,000 miles away from Dane?
Yeah, I know. It's something that I've had to get used to quite recently, just because of lockdown as well. I've been doing a lot of home recording, but it kind of adds a different element to it, and it adds a bit of excitement to it, because I didn't know who Dane was before I saw his video where he was like, "Oh, come sing on my song," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, why not?" And then I didn't even know he was associated with CS Rise until after I did that. So it's a really nice, happy coincidence. And yeah, it was lovely to be a part of it. Like he says, it's such a positive song, and it hopefully has a really positive impact on people's thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so full of energy, and that energy comes across even though we know that people are scattered all over the world. It's fantastic. But maybe we could chat a little bit about your song, Charity. I know you do lots of music. You've just got a fabulous new album out called Perfect Thought, which I hear is going really well. But the song we wanted to talk about today is a really powerful song about climate change called Wake Up. You know, I'm really biased because I love the song so much, but let's see if we can share that with the audience today so they can get a little glimpse into what you wrote on your own.
Wake up, wake up from the world inside your head. Wake up, wake up, won't you wake up? Mother, say it's just a thread. Wake up, wake up, won't you wake up from the world inside your head.
Fantastic. It gives me goosebumps every time, Charity. I love it so much. Could you maybe just talk a little bit about how you actually came about to write a song like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think my process for this, I think, is quite different to Dane's. I kind of wrote this song and then opened the gates to all of this side of the music industry and you guys as well. So I kind of wrote the song not really thinking about the impact of it, and then realized what I should be doing with it. So yeah, I wrote it after going to an Extinction Rebellion march in Nottingham, and it kind of, the passion that was there in the square where I was, there's so many young people, and it was trying to capture the frustration and also the positivity in the community that is surrounding this really stressful but also very strange topic of climate change. I think for young people it can be a big cause of stress, and I think that's what I wanted to channel with this video and the song, is to try and just translate that and get people to listen and wake up to it.
So how did it actually come about? Maybe you could give us a little bit of insight into how writing music works. Did you write the lyrics first and then write the music, or what's the process? What was the process like for that one?
So I'm normally music first, lyrics afterwards, and this song was a bit different. I knew what I was going to write about, so normally I just sing and let something come out, whereas this, it was a bit more planned, and I kind of had a topic that I definitely wanted to write about. So yeah, it was the version I wrote at the beginning was very different, but I think the slightly more grungy, rocky version kind of fits with the atmosphere of it a lot better.
Yeah, fantastic. And just out of interest, how long did it take you to write?
Oh, not very long. I don't, just like a general basic demo of a song probably takes me about an hour maybe, just to get like
Wow.
the structure of it. And then obviously the production takes a lot more time.
Yeah, tell me a bit about the video, and I think we need to thank Jay Naylor for that, because I think he filmed that video for you. Where did that actually take place, and what was the sort of thought about the setting?
Yeah, so we wanted something that was a bit gloomy, but also kind of has, I think Sonny Wong also edited it very well, the way you had the gloominess, but also the kind of light stuff and the impact of it. And I think that's, like Dane was saying, is really important to make it accessible and make it positive. Otherwise, it's hard to get out to people because it's not a nice topic to talk about. So with the music video, I really wanted to get those two aspects together. But yeah, me and my lovely boyfriend Jay, we went to some abandoned places around Lincolnshire where we live in England, and yeah, did some filming on a very horrible, wet, rainy day, but it turned out to be perfect weather for that video.
There you go. Wet and rainy over here in England and sunny in Florida. It's the story of our lives. Anyway, just as a reminder, thank you so much, Charity, for all your insight there. As a reminder, you can hear the whole of Wake Up and see the whole video in rainy England on the See Us Rise website. Thank you so much for sharing your inspiration with us today, Charity.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now we have somebody for you who I think is very special. She is a student over in the Miami-Dade School District, and she used her science fair project to make real change throughout her community. I would like to introduce you to Holly. Hi, Holly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's a privilege to have you. Can you just share what you would
Yes.
your project was
I'll
about?
share my
and
screen
how
now.
it came about?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So it all started with my science project in the 6th grade. My project focused on CO2 because it's a primary greenhouse gas in the atmosphere and one of the main contributors to global warming, which is when there's increase in temperatures worldwide. When we have too much CO2, it's like a big blanket that goes around the earth and doesn't let any heat escape, and it makes the earth way hotter. My project focused on CO2 specifically from school buses because transportation is the 2nd largest source of CO2 emissions. When I took the bus home, I could see the smoke and I could smell it, and I knew that it couldn't be good for our planet. I knew that we had to make a change to stop climate change now and reduce the CO2 to make our world livable. I wanted our school district to replace diesel buses with electric buses. So when I did my experiment, I thought that if I checked the CO2 levels outside the bus, it would be the highest because that's where the fumes are coming out of. I tested each area on 3 different days. My hypothesis was wrong, and the test showed that the CO2 inside the bus had the highest levels at around 5,000. I could not believe that inside the bus was worse, and it was just so much worse that it was shocking. And that motivated me to speak up and switch to electric school buses. So carbon dioxide is very bad for the environment and for people inside the buses, which is why I knew that we had to switch to electric. So when I was 12 years old, I first went to the school board and I wanted to share my results and my concerns for the people who rode the bus and the environment and get our school district to get electric school buses. Before I spoke to my school district, they had not applied for the money available and they were considering buying other buses that were not electric. After I spoke though, the superintendent told me that they were going to go to CNG buses, but have now decided that they were going to go straight to electric next time they bought buses. I continue to speak at different events and it's always a little bit scary and I always get nervous, but I know that I have to say something because that's how you make a change. So this year I went back and some other people joined me. I went back because the time was running out to apply and I needed them to make sure that they got the funding for electric school buses. There were parents, bus drivers, and Lion Electric that even brought an electric school bus to show how quiet, powerful, and clean these buses are and how important it was to get the funding for the school buses now. And we did it. It was a success, and the school board confirmed that they would now apply for the money and that next time they buy buses, they're going to be electric and that they have the money for them. So now they will get 50 new electric school buses very soon. Today, I continue to speak and share my story so that all the old polluting, unhealthy diesel school buses are removed and replaced by electric school buses. And I try to inspire other kids like you and stand up and speak for our future. We can make many changes to make our Earth a more livable world and help reduce CO2 and stop climate change. It's not only electric school buses and transportation, but there's also reusing, reducing, and recycling, reducing food waste like composting. There's water conservation, there's switching to clean energy, eliminating single-use plastic, and living sustainably. My hope for you is that no matter how young or how small you are, your voice is big and powerful. So don't be afraid to speak up. We all need to stand up and take climate action today. If I can do it, you can do it, because there is no planet B. Thank you.
Holly, that's wonderful. That's really inspiring.
Thank
Is
you.
there any tip, or if you had to give one piece of advice to our audience who are basically up to 5th grade on how they could make a difference? Not just that they should voice their concerns, but is there a way that they should get together or work with their parents or talk to the PTA? What, if you could give them one piece of advice with regard to that, what would it be?
Yeah, just like make sure that you have, like, if you want to speak to someone, like to make sure you have support, and like you can start like a club, and then like you can talk to restaurants that are giving out single-use plastic, for example, and ask them to use like metal or reusable things, and just like little things like that, like reducing plastic and like composting food instead of just throwing it away, just like little things, that anything that you can help to do.
Very good advice. Is there anything else that you would like to say to our audience? Otherwise, there's your story is also on our website, csrise.org, and you're all free to go there, and I hope you take advantage of it. Holly, anything else?
I just want to say thank you for everyone for listening, and I hope that you can make a change and like help save our planet, because every little thing you do counts.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you all so much for that. I am just blown away. I love the art, the music, the collaboration, even the geography. And thank you for tying that in together for Paula, and we'll check in to see how Robin Hood's doing over there. I love it. It's just so neat to see the collaboration. Again, different countries, different ideas, music, art, environment, policy. My friends out there, this is what this is about. Not only are we making changes, we're doing this in many different ways. I love the fact that we can pull in so many different passions and collaborate. This is how we change the world, is collaboration. And I want to thank you all so much. Can someone share, Michael, maybe you could share out the website one more time and how we can get involved?
Certainly. The website, we're a nonprofit, so we get to be a .org instead of a .com, but it's C like the ocean, SEA, Us Rise.
See us rise. And we certainly are seeing you rise, and you guys are helping all of us as learners, as inhabitants of the earth, as people who want to change this and make this better for ourselves and our next generation. Thank you all so much. See us rise. We really appreciate you being here today.
Paris,
Thank
I
you.
would like to say one other thing,
Sure.
that if we have any young musicians in the audience, getting your song onto CS Rise is absolutely free. You just submit the song. Sometimes we help people a little bit if they need it. A lot of times we just put the song right up, but there is never a charge to musicians, and we do our best to support you by putting it out through our social media. And in fact, in Dane's case, we have him doing a live performance tomorrow night. So whatever
That is
we can
great.
do to help a musician get their name out and get their songs out, that's what we're here for.
And that'll
Yeah,
be on
and
your
we-
website tomorrow. Dane will be on the website.
No, tomorrow night is actually a live performance for the Sierra Club. The head of the Sierra Club National is going to be in town here in St. Petersburg, and we're having a party for him and for the political candidates who we've supported. And Dane is putting on a live performance from his Tesla in an outdoor art gallery here in St. Petersburg.
Excellent. Thank you. Again, get involved if you can. I'm gonna get involved. I can't sing. Maybe I'll hum. I'll be someone's backup hummer. This is so great. Thank you all for allowing us to get involved in the ways that we want to and the ways that we can voice our passions. And I look forward to hearing from you more. And hopefully we'll see you guys next year and hopefully in person. So we're going to take a little break from the St. Pete Science Festival. Thank you, learners. Stick with us. We got a big conclusion coming up.